Questions, clarifications? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Then I need a approval of our minutes of our regular meeting of October 24th, 2023.
I'll also make the motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of October 24th, 2023.
I second that.
Motion made by trustee Minks, second by trustee Khan. Any discussion, questions, clarification? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, trustee Whitco for filling in for me. I was out of town on business. Special reports, there are none. Public hearings, we do have a 2024 village budget for the Village of Morton Grove and the Morton Grove Library. That will be a public hearing. Do I need a motion to go into? Go ahead, Ralph.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll do a brief PowerPoint to keep along here with the budget presentation. We had, as indicated in the minutes, we had two workshops on this budget for the proposed calendar year budget 2024. This is the budget hearing. Focus on the budget document, the financial document that contains expenditures, summary and details, personnel, contractual, commodities, and supporting information, key requests from departments to make the village operate in a sufficient manner, and then summary of modifications. In budget overview, the total proposed budget for the Village of Morton Grove for 2024 is $84.48 million, which is a $6.3 million increase, or 8.11% from 2023, which was $78.14 million. Some of the activities inside this budget, which causes that increase of 6.3, is activities within the Lehigh Ferris TIF District projects at $2.9 million. And then general fund increase of 2.81, and then also infrastructure enhancements for water mains and sewers of $500,000. We characterize this budget as being reactionary but managed budget, and we're reacting to some things that we'll talk about in this budget overview. In the budget overview, we're going to talk about the funding priorities. Certainly to maintain the stability of the bond rating for the village, to make sure we are fiduciarily strong in our funds. Capital projects, so we continue to develop the village in appropriate manners. Personnel costs, inflationary pressures on materials and supplies, and the operation of the village. And then market impacts and recruitment are a concern to the village, and making sure that our personnel costs and expenditures for benefits are appropriate. Economic development, to make sure the village is continually moving forward, and I think anybody that drives through the village of Morton Grove knows how much it has been improving over the past decade and of late. Municipal facilities, like everybody's house, our municipal facilities need maintenance, and public facilities need the same thing. And then systematic replacement of operational equipment to make sure that we are functional with our core essential functions of the village, from fire, police, and public works. The general fund, the day-to-day operations of the village. The day-to-day operations of the village would be funded at $37.92 million, or $2,815,000 increase, which is a 8.02% over 2023. Predominantly, we can break these down as shown in the PowerPoint. Our pension contributions increased by $654,000 in this particular budget, which is a significant increase. And these are brought to us because of actuarial understanding of where our pensions need to be to serve the promise of the pensions to our employees. Healthcare insurance increase, $400,000. Operating cost increase, $950,000, and technology cost increase. To make sure that we are on a level of cutting edge, to make sure that the village is operating appropriately and actually controlling some of our personnel costs, we want to make sure that our technology is of a level that's appropriate, and also the fact that there's been increases in our licensing fees. Also, street improvements in public buildings, cost increase of $200,000. Once again, a managed reactionary budget. The proposed revenue modifications to meet this mark include a 9% property tax increase, which is $1,042,000. Increase in other taxes, a 1% increase in food and beverage and packaged liquor taxes, which would generate $630,000, and a 1 cent increase in fuel tax, which would generate $100,000. The key expenditure increases are pension contributions increased almost 10%, 9.7%. Once again, based on actuarials for the promises that are made, for the benefit levels that our employees receive. Something that we can't kick the can on and fall back on because that number will just be larger in the future. Healthcare cost increases. We all know where healthcare is going, and that increase represented a 10.35% increase in our healthcare, even though we shopped the market and found to the best ability the healthcare costs. This summarizes on this table, which, it's difficult when I can read it here with these glasses. I can't read it well there, so I'm going to focus on the screen. So, of all taxes, the increase to the village is 7.96%. These are our revenues. Our licensing and permit fees are a little bit down. Some of our larger projects from construction, we need to understand the realities of the permit fees going down because there's a little bit less in major construction going on during 2024. Fines are going to stay stable. Charges for other services, we see an increase in here because we think we have a good market advantage from this fact that our ambulance fees have increased significantly, and that's due to responses that we receive. And once again, residents do not pay anything out of pocket for ambulance services, which are of a high level in the community. This all comes from insurance. Individuals from outside the village that are non-taxpayers would be paying additional for that over and above insurance. Grants, I think we're conservative in our grant area here a little bit. We're going to be flat, but we have a lot of activity going on. The board has definitely solicited a lot of grants from our senators and representatives, and we think those are going to come to fruition, but we can't count our chickens before they're in the coop. But we think we're going to do well there, and it'll certainly help us with our 2025 budget. Investments and rentals, flat amount there. Transfers from other funds to help us cover our expenditures is up a little bit, but we think that softened the blow to the residents from the tax standpoint by taking funds from available sources and putting them into the operating budget. Miscellaneous is down a little bit, miscellaneous incomes and revenues. And then the American Rescue Plan Act, those funds were given to us by the federal government, and we have a period of time to draw those down, and we're using them on capital projects that are going to last us a decade, if not a decade and a half, rather than just buying something that we're going to use maybe a year or two. So I think these are wise moves to place our revenues in the right place. Expenditures. When we talk about expenditures, media and communications, there's an $18,000 increase to make sure that we are communicating appropriately and using our media capabilities to get information out to the residents and the community at large. Information technology, this is once again going to the cloud with several things and making sure that it is appropriate and contemporary. And also, we just came off of a 3-year rather good market for our licenses for our software, and unfortunately those costs have increased as everybody's witnessing in their own environment. Reserves, we're putting some money in reserves that are set aside. This is for expenditure on personnel costs. We are in some labor negotiations, and we are setting some funds aside. This also contains funds that are used for an emergency if we are struck with God forbid, a storm of some level. We've been fortunate in years, but we always put these funds into our budget to make sure that we need to react to an emergency in the community. We have the funds, and when we don't use them, which we've been fortunate not to use in prior years, the money slips back into our general reserves, which makes our fiduciary responsibility and impact capability better. Police Department, we have an increase there. This relates to the pension fund capabilities and some minor equipment enhancements. Fire Department, same thing, predominantly insurance and pension. And Public Works, Streets Department, same thing. It's back to those culprits of pension funds and insurance costs, and other expenditures here are just up. Everything, as we know, when we go to the grocery store, we don't pay different prices from other people. Prices are going up on many of the things that we have to purchase to make the village the steadfast organization that it is. We can, from sand and gravel to concrete to road salt, we are having inflationary pressures on everything, and we're doing our best. Fuel is going up, doing our best to do that. Previously, we mentioned, in this report, we mentioned a property tax increase. What does that mean? We have to take a look at our entire property tax bill when we look at and what we receive and we open it and we see a large number. The village is 12% of that bill, that budget, of that bill. 12% of the taxpayers' bill goes to the village of Morton Grove. There are other aspects of the tax bill that cover vital needs in the community. But once again, on that 12%, village residents receive core essential functions of police, fire, public works that are at a high standard, but there are costs that need to be increased. And what does that mean to someone that owns a $400,000 house? A $400,000 house would have an increase in your tax bill from the village of Morton Grove of $114.61. When we talk about increasing the water rate, we have to do that. While we've done great things about our water supply, we still need to buy the materials, the fire hydrants, the other things that need to make it operational. And we need to apply a 3% increase to the water rate. And that's an increase of $19.80 on an annual basis to every subscriber. Solid waste. We have not touched the solid waste or trash collection rate in this village for quite some time. We negotiated a very solid contract in 2020 that we were able to not increase it until this point. But that has to be done, and we have to keep up with the costs for waste disposal and hauling and the removal of, which is very expensive to at this point. And then what we talk about here is a total annual impact of the increases that we have before this board and the residents of this community of $146.29 on an annual basis, or a monthly increase on a home, a typical home of $400,000 of $12.19. So we think the balanced approach of charging things like food and beverage tax, packaged liquor tax, impact people that visit our community, and there's more and more of those people coming to our community as we do economic development with restaurants and other things that bring in other people to the community. The staff feels rather comfortable presenting this board with this budget, as we talked about in our workshops. And we stay before you today, November 14th, 2023, with the proposed budget hearing. The budget and tax levy ordinances will be here for the first reading this evening. And then also on November 28th, there will be a tax levy hearing. And then we'll also have the budget and tax levy ordinances for their second reading. I know that's a lot to cover and a lot to go through, but certainly there's an opportunity for questions if we could. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Ralph. Always a chief, Ralph. So this is a public hearing, so we allow residents' comments on this, and I do have some sign-in sheets that people want to speak specifically about the budget. So those people I can call up right now as well. I do want to remind people what Ralph said. It's very, very important to understand this. The village's tax bill is 12 to 13%, depending on where you are in the village, of your total tax bill. So I know everybody comes to the village meeting and says, "Oh, my taxes, my taxes, my taxes." I've said this for the 20 years I've been on this board. It's 12%, which means $9,000 tax, $8,000 tax bill Your taxes to the Village of Morton Grove are under $1,000 for the year. For us to provide you police, fire, the best public works, the best of all of our departments, actually, with respect to fire and police, they're just as top notch. 12%. So if you have a $9,000 tax bill, $8,000 tax bill, yeah, $900 a year is what you're paying to the village. So I know it's still $900, but I think that's probably the best value on your tax bill, and has been for years and years and years. And unfortunately, we're in inflationary times here. As Ralph said perfectly and eloquently, everything's gone up. We have pensions. We owe our police and our firemen and women what we promised them. We're not going to go back on that. And I think we all sleep safer at night knowing that we have the best police and fire departments probably in the country, definitely in the state of Illinois. I think it's pretty dang good value for $900. So I just want to remind people of that. That being said, if there's any residents' comments on the budget for tonight, which I do have a few sign-ups here. If I don't mention your name, just raise your hand and then you can come up and talk. So the first person that is on my sheet here is Bob Burkhart. Robert? And as I always remind people at all these village meetings when there are public comments, as a respect to time to the board and to fellow residents, please don't repeat. If somebody's already said what you were going to say, please don't come up and say it again. One time is good, we get it, so let's try not to repeat. Any input is good input. We're here to listen, but please not try to repeat. Go ahead, Robert.
Mayor, I wasn't able to make the tax workshops this year. Did you miss me?
I did.
Yeah. Octor and I were there last year, and it was very educational. And I, for one, really appreciate the priorities that you have. I compared my tax bill from last year to the one we just got recently. I think it's like only $18 more for the village. So I think I'm cheating the village in terms of that. But it's really worth it, and I wish it could be even more. I'd like to see more benefits to the staff. I'd like to see everybody get an increase, and it doesn't look like that. It looks like some staff salaries are frozen this year. No?
It's not true.
Okay, well, then
Nope.
I misread it then. Well, that's good. Okay, I'm here to support Go Green, who are going to follow me. Go Green is an outgrowth of Vision Morton Grove.
Okay, stop right there. Stop right there. You are you going to speak specifically about the budget?
Yeah,
But you just mentioned a political organization, so therefore I'm going to stop you right there. Would you like to say something else about the budget?
yeah, sure would. Yeah,
As Bob Burkhart,
yeah.
not
Bob
as
sure.
anything to do with Vision
Sure,
Morton
Bob
Grove, is a
Burkhart,
political
Bob Burkhart,
organization.
Want to tell you a personal experience, and this has to do with the matter of the amount of money that you have for tree replacement. Remember when we lost all those ash trees? It was about maybe 10, 12 years ago. We lost 3 beautiful trees in front of us. My wife cried when she came home from work. And I had gotten to know Bill Burns, and so when we had talked together, I said, Bill, what are you going to do? He said, well, we're going to put some more trees in there. I said, you know, we don't have time, because I'm old, to watch the trees grow. He says, I tell you what, we have a program. If you pay somebody, I think it was something like $700 a tree, we replaced 3 trees. And he said they will be larger trees. You'll be able to choose what kind of tree, and you'll be a winner. And he's right. Those trees now have probably been in 12 years or so. They're like 20, 25 feet high. Rita walks by them all the time, right, Rita? They're large. The scrub trees that were put in are maybe as tall as I am. That is a good program, and if we would put more money into the tree replacement program, which is not a whole lot, we would beautify Morton Grove so much faster than what we are now. So I hope you at least double that. Was it 15,000 or something like that? So that we can get the place looking better fast. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you,
That's
Bob.
it.
Good comments. Andrew Hoffman.
Hello, my name's Andrew Hoffman, and I'm a resident of Morton Grove for about 30 years. I'm here tonight to talk about our concern about the nearly 21% decrease in funding for tree planting for the proposed 2024 budget. We ask that you increase the budget for tree planting to at least the level of the previous year. Morton Grove does many things well, and I am fortunate, very fortunate, to be able to live here. But our tree canopy and the beauty and richness that it brings to our village has been rapidly decreasing over these past years, as I see less shady streets and more barren and shadeless areas. Tree-lined streets increase business sales because shoppers stroll more. They decrease sidewalk temperature and noise. A robust tree canopy reduces crime, increases property values, and attracts people to the community. The benefit of a mature tree more than offsets the cost of planting them. So we encourage you to consider increasing the budget allotment for tree planting in the 2024 budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. John Colt.
Hi, most of you know me. I'm John Cole, been a resident for 32 years. I'm requesting that one small part of the proposed budget for the Public Works Department be modified, specifically related to the tree replacement. On pages 32 to 34 of the proposed budget, it says 251 trees were planted in 2023, while the goal for 2024 is only 100 trees. Also, the proposed 2024 budget for tree replacement is 21% less than it was in 2023. Most of our neighboring towns are prioritizing planting many more trees than they cut down. In the last few years, in Morton Grove, many more trees have been cut down than planted.
Not true.
Since environmental sustainability was one of the four main pillars of the recently adopted strategic plan, I urge you to increase the proposed amount for tree replacement in 2024. Thank you.
Thank you. Akhtar Sadiq.
My name is Akhtar Sadiq, 5736 Main Street in Morton Grove. I am not going to repeat what John just mentioned, but I would second and support what he requested for. We need to have more trees, so let's keep Morton Grove green and greener. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments on the budget? Any residents that didn't register? Come on up, Bill. Terry, note that Bill Page.
I'm Bill Page. I'm going to be very quick and simple. The first slide with the table and numbers, some of the numbers didn't appear to line up. That was corrected in the later slides. So whether it's necessary to update the packet or not, be nice to have it right, be nice to have it consistent. And I can go through it with you and point at what I noticed. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Anyone else? Can I get a motion to close our public hearing?
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Mink, seconded by trustee Whitko to close the public hearing. Clerk, please call the vote.
Trustee Khan. Aye. Trustee Minks.
Aye.
Trustee Sheba. Trustee Travis.
Aye.
Trustee Whitko. Aye.
Closing the public hearing has passed 5-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. Next up on our agenda is our Plan Commission reports. There are two tonight. These will be presented, as you can see, by Zoe Hydorn, who always does a great job. Turn it over to you, Zoe.
Good evening, Mayor and trustees. It is my pleasure to present two Plan Commission cases this evening. PC 2316 is a request by the village for a text amendment to various sections of Title 12 to modify regulations relating to accessory uses and structures, massage establishments, select industrial uses, truck parking, automotive and truck repair uses, and exterior building modifications only in the commercial districts. The Plan Commission considered the case at its August 15th and October 17th meetings, and on October 17th, the Plan Commission voted unanimously to recommend approval of the text amendment as presented, with the exception of proposed regulations relating to short-term rental units, which are still under consideration. PC 2317 is a request by MHDC SLF LLC for approval of a subdivision and special use permits authorizing the construction of a 36-unit mixed-use development with ground floor restaurant and bar uses, 126 accessory parking spaces, and a pedestrian plaza at 8500 through 8550 Lehigh Avenue, which is currently village-owned property. 9 of the 36 residential units will be affordable to households earning no more than 60% of the area median income. A 24-unit mixed-use development previously proposed by the applicant was approved under Ordinance 2203, but did not move forward due to increased construction costs and a gap in financing. The Traffic Safety Commission and Appearance Commission chairpersons waived review of the application by the full commissions, and on October 17th, the Plan Commission voted to recommend approval of the application with various conditions. I have the developer and general contractor here. I would also be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the board?
Yes.
Trustee Minks?
John Thill, as everyone knows, is not here this evening. I am his backup liaison, and so he has a couple of questions on case PC 2317. The first question he has is, the street will be vacated. Who's going to own it?
The street will be vacated, and that was previously approved under an ordinance passed in 2022.
Correct.
Approximately 3/4 of the street will be dedicated to the developer. The remaining quarter will be dedicated to the Moose Lodge.
Okay, thank you. And then, because they'll be owned by them, they would be the ones responsible for maintaining what used to be a street, because it'll now be part of the property, correct?
That is correct. We do expect easements to be established. I believe we may have some public infrastructure underneath the street, so all of that would need to be worked out, but yes.
Okay.
Generally, they would be responsible.
And then his third request is the new street that's going to be made. Have they come up with a name yet?
So I'd like to clarify, it will not be a new street, it will be a private driveway, a two-way
Okay,
driveway.
so it's a driveway.
Correct. I doubt we will name it, but we could certainly consider that as
Okay.
part of.
Well, I know right
application.
now, this is my question, the Moose has a Chestnut address. Will it remain that address?
I don't know
We
at this
don't know?
time, because there
Okay.
probably won't be a Chestnut Street, so to be
Okay.
determined. But we'll
Okay,
certainly work
that's
with the
fine.
Moose Lodge.
And then, if you know John Thill at all, you know he loves the forest preserves. He's concerned about the snow removal that will come now on this private drive, and it cannot be pushed into the forest preserve, and he wanted that made clear.
That's correct. The site plan that was approved includes, I think, 9 parking spaces that are dedicated for snow storage in the
Okay.
winter season.
And those are his comments, so thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board to Zoe or the developer or the contractor? Hearing none. Thank you very much, Zoe.
Thank you.
Great job. Residents' comments on other agenda items other than the budget. Does anybody have anything on the agenda other than the budget? Okay, hearing none. President's report. Just a few things tonight. Hard to believe, but it's time for Santa to come to town. The kids will be happy that he called me and said that he will be coming on Saturday, December 2nd. We had a nice conversation about that. And he's going to start the parade at Greenwood and Waukegan at 11. His trip will end at Main Street and Austin Avenue between 1:15 and 1:30. Santa will reappear at Prairie View Community Center at 6834 Dempster to greet families and to provide gifts to children receiving specially marked candy from the parade. And gift redemption will be from 1 to 4. I will mention this again, and you can always get more information on Santa coming at mortongrovil.org//Santa. Keeping that in mind, we're going to have a Toys for Tots drive sponsored by our Morton Grove Police Department, as they do every year, so it's an annual event. The collections will be from now all the way till December 11th. The This also is in affiliation with the Marines Toys for Tot Drive, which is underway. So new unwrapped toys can be donated at the following toy donation box locations. These will be on the website as well. Morton Grove Police Department, 6101 Capulina. Morton Grove Fire Department number 4. That's at 6250 Lincoln. The Village Hall here, of course, 6101 Capulina. The Morton Grove Park District at 6834 Dempster Street. And the Morton Grove Public Library at 6140 Lincoln. So Police Department, Fire Department, Station 4, Village Hall, Park District, and the Public Library will all be helping us with that. So anybody that could donate, that would be great. And of course, our fire department is right there with them. They are also doing a monetary donations to purchase gift cards, toys, and a holiday meal for families in need. That's until December 15th. Checks can be made payable to the Firefighters Association of Morton Grove. Donations can be sent to or dropped off at Morton Grove Fire Station 4 at 6250 Lincoln Avenue. If you're dropping it off, just make sure that you put attention food drive so the firefighters don't think it's for them and start eating it. That was a joke, Chief. Any questions, please contact our fire department at 847-470-5226. Other than that, I have no further report tonight. Clerk's report.
No report, Your Honor.
Thank you. Staff's report, Village Administrator.
Yes, Mr. President, just a couple things. First off, an announcement of Village Hall hours during the upcoming holidays. Thursday and Friday, November 23rd and 24th for Thanksgiving, Village Hall and Public Works will be closed, those offices. Monday, December 25th, closed for Christmas. Monday, January 1st, closed for New Year's. The other thing I wanted to bring to the community's attention is a little bit of information about those pesky holiday lights. Everybody's going to be putting those up with the weather going nice, and some of those are not going to light, and they're not going to work for you, and you're going to wonder how to dispose of them. Well, the village offers holiday light recycling through February 1st, 2024. Holiday light recycling bin is at the lobby in Village Hall, right here, 6101 Capulina. Discard your lights properly for recycling through the Solid Waste Agency in Northern Cook County and Elgin Recycling. All holiday light strings are accepted through this free program with no garland on it, no live branches, nothing attached to it. It should be clean and brought to the Village Hall for disposal. Please don't put, please, ask it again, please do not put these in your recycling container. Because all it's going to do is gum up the recycling equipment, and they'll have to stop, and it takes longer to recycle a material. Cables like that, wires like that, hoses, other things like that need to be properly recycled, and that's why we have the holiday recycling bin here at Village Hall. Thank you very much. End of my report.
Thank you, Corporate Counsel. Thanks. Reports by trustee. Trustee Khan, you have 2 ordinances. First reads.
Thank you, Your Honor. First of all, I'd like to thank the village staff for their hard work and effort in putting the budget together and presenting it tonight, so thank you for your work. With that being said, I have 2 ordinances tonight, and they both are first reading, so there's not going to be a formal voting on that. First is the ordinance 23-21, which is introduced tonight, November 14, 2023, an ordinance adopting the budgets for all corporate purposes of the Village of Morton Grove and the Morton Grove Library, Cook County, Illinois, for the calendar year effective January 1st, 2024, and ending December 31st, 2024. Ordinance number 2, which is ordinance 23-22, introduced tonight, November 14, 2023. Again, it's the first reading. An ordinance levying and assessing taxes for the Village of Morton Grove, Cook County, Illinois, for 2023 to be collected in the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2024, and ending December 31st, 2024. I do have an informal report that I would like to read out during other businesses, but as of now, my formal report, that's the end of it. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Trustee Khan. Trustee Minks.
Thank you, Your Honor. I myself only have 2 resolutions this evening. First resolution, 2341, is authorizing the execution of a contract for ambulance billing services. The village has used a third-party vendor for ambulance services for decades, and we have not modified that since 2010. The village administrator and the fire chief have determined that EMS management and consultants can provide better service, offers access to staff for additional funding opportunities, and allows access to a much broader database providing better analytics, all at a less expense to the village. EMS management and consultants will charge a 3.75% fee for all the monies collected. Our current vendor charge is 5%. I move that we approve Resolution 2341.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Mink, seconded by trustee Whitko, to approve.
Travis.
Travis, I'm sorry, to approve resolution 23-41. Any discussions, questions, or clarifications? Hearing none, clerk, please call the vote.
Trustee Minks?
Aye.
Trustee Sheba?
Aye.
Trustee Travis?
Aye.
Trustee Whitko?
Aye.
Trustee Khan.
Aye.
Resolution 23-41 passes 5-0, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you. Then Resolution 2342 is authorizing the purchase of self-contained breathing apparatus, or SCBA equipment. This has a fiscal impact of $292,580, and I move that we approve Resolution 2342 as presented.
Second that.
Motion made by trustee Mink, seconded by trustee Khan to approve resolution 23-42. Any discussions, questions, clarification? Hearing none, clerk, please call the vote.
Trustee Sheba?
Aye.
Trustee Travis?
Aye.
Trustee Whitko?
Aye.
Trustee Khan.
Aye.
Trustee Minks?
Aye.
Resolution 23-42 passes 5-0, Your Honor.
Thank you.
That is the end of my formal report.
Thank you, trustee Minks, and we wish your husband, Paul, good, speedy recovery, okay?
Thank you.
Trustee Sheba.
No report, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Trustee Thill is absent, so we're going to go back to trustee Minks to take care of resolution 23-43.
Correct. Resolution 2343 is authorizing a contract with United Door and Dock LLC for fire station garage doors. A little bit of background on this. The fire department staff at Fire Station 4, located at 6250 Lincoln Avenue, utilizes 6 garage doors to respond to emergency calls 24 hours a day. The proper function of these doors is vital for the efficient response of emergency vehicles, and these doors have been at Fire Station 4 for nearly 30 years. The contract was bid through a public process in accordance with the village requirements, and this contract must conform to the requirements of the Prevailing Wage Act. The fiscal impact is $75,587, and I move that we approve Resolution 2343 as presented.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Minks, seconded by trustee Whitko to approve resolution 23-43. Any discussions, questions, clarification? Hearing none, clerk, please call the vote.
Trustee Travis?
Aye.
Trustee Whitko?
Aye.
Trustee Khan.
Aye.
Trustee Minks?
Aye.
Trustee Sheba?
Aye.
Resolution 23-43 passes 5-0, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay, Resolution 2344. This is guaranteeing municipal work performed on State of Illinois rights-of-way within the Village of Morton Grove. This is to provide a guarantee to the state of Illinois that all work performed by the village within the state's rights-of-way in 2024 and 2025 will conform to the conditions on the permit granted by the Illinois Department of Transportation. The Village of Morton Grove maintains its utilities within the state right-of-way on a regular basis and needs permission from the Illinois Department of Transportation to do so. The Illinois Department of Transportation requires a permit and financial security in the form of a bond for work performed within the state right-of-way. This is a routine guarantee and is similar to the village's permit requirement for work performed within the village's own right-of-way. Municipalities can either provide a bond for each maintenance activity or a written guarantee that all work performed by the village within the state right-of-way will conform to IDOT's requirements for the work. Providing this guarantee will eliminate the time and cost of procuring a bond for each permit. The guarantee also holds the state of Illinois harmless with respect to the work, the permitted work. I move that we approve Resolution 2344.
Second that.
Motion made by trustee Mink, seconded by trustee Khan to approve resolution 23-44. Any discussions, questions, clarification? Hearing none, clerk, please call vote.
Trustee Whitko?
Aye.
Trustee Khan.
Aye.
Trustee Minks.
Aye.
Trustee Sheba.
Aye.
Trustee Travis.
Aye.
Resolution 23-44 passes 5-0, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay, Resolution 2344 is authorizing an agreement.
45.
Excuse me, you are right, 2345. That's authorizing an agreement with the Illinois Department of Transportation for the improvement of Oakton Street over Eden's Expressway. I move that we approve Resolution 2345.
Second.
Motion's been made by trustee Minks, seconded by trustee Whitko. Any discussion, questions, clarifications on resolution 23-45? Hearing none, clerk, please call the vote.
Trustee Khan.
Aye.
Trustee Minks.
Aye.
Trustee Sheba.
Aye.
Trustee Travis.
Aye.
Trustee Whitko.
Aye.
Resolution 23-45 passes 5-0, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay, and then Resolution 2346 is authorizing an exclusive franchise agreement with Waste Not, Inc. for food scrap composting services in the village of Morton Grove. Little bit of background, there's 19 million tons of waste in landfill in Illinois every year. Food waste accounts for as much as 20% of this waste. This program will be at no cost to the village. It is going to be a private agreement between the residents and the company. I move that we approve Resolution 2346. Second.
Motion made by trustee Minks, seconded by trustee Travis to approve resolution 23-46. Any questions, clarification, or discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please call the vote.
Trustee Minks.
Aye.
Trustee Sheba.
Aye.
Trustee Travis.
Aye.
Trustee Whitko.
Aye.
Trustee Khan.
Aye.
Resolution 23-46 passes 5-0, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And I believe this is my last resolution, 2347, authorizing the purchase of 2 new 2023 Ford Explorers from Breederman Ford of Glenview, Illinois. The fiscal impact is $81,480.19. I move that we approve Resolution 2347.
Second that.
Motion made by trustee Minks, seconded by trustee Khan to approve resolution 23-47. Any questions, discussion, clarification? Hearing none, clerk, please call the vote.
Trustee Sheba.
Aye.
Trustee Travis.
Aye.
Trustee Whitko.
Aye.
Trustee Khan.
Aye.
Trustee Minks.
Aye.
Resolution 23-47 passes 5-0, Your Honor.
And that is the end of John Thill's report.
Thank you very much. Trustee Travis,
No report, Your Honor.
trustee Whitko.
Thank you, Your Honor. Tonight I have ordinance 2323, approving a text amendment to modify and establish regulations relating to accessory uses and structures, off-street parking, massage establishments, truck-related uses, truck parking, automotive and truck repair uses, and design standards in Morton Grove, Illinois. The details were presented by Zoe Hydorn earlier this evening. A little more detail is the text amendment authorizes temporary accessory uses, provides greater control over detached accessory structures on residential lots, prohibits new massage establishments, limits parking and storage activities for contractors' offices in the commercial districts, improves regulation of heavy industrial truck repair and car wash uses in the manufacturing districts, regulates truck parking as an accessory use, and cleans up existing regulations to improve clarity and eliminate redundancy. This is a first read, so no action will be taken tonight. And I have a second ordinance, 23-24, approving special use permits with associated waivers for a 36-unit mixed-use development and a preliminary and final plat of subdivision for property commonly known as 8500 to 8550 Lehigh Avenue and a .531 acre portion of Chestnut Street right-of-way approved for vacation in Morton Grove, Illinois, also presented earlier this evening by Zoe Hydorn, so there is no action for this first read tonight. That's the end of my report.
Thank you very much, trustee Whitko. Any other business brought before the board tonight?
I have a commentary that I'd like to read, Your Honor, if you may allow me, please. Thank you. So this upcoming weekend, Americans will be celebrating the Thanksgiving holiday, a time for us to give thanks for the harvest, other blessings of the past year, and spend time with family and friends. However, this Thanksgiving will be difficult for American, Arab, Muslim, and Jewish families. Celebrating family togetherness over a lavish meal feels sinful while families are being starved and slaughtered in Gaza. Over 1,500 people have been killed in Israel by Hamas militants. As of today, over 15,000 Palestinians have been killed in Israeli attacks in Gaza since October 7, 2023, and more than 4,000 are children. 600 foreign nationals are stranded in Gaza by the illegal Israeli blockade, of which 400 are American citizens with their families. The loss of these lives is tragic and an unfolding catastrophe. This is collective punishment, and it is immoral. As a person of faith, I call for peace at this time through a ceasefire. At the current rate of Palestinian deaths per day, we are headed toward an impending genocide. I reject the killing of civilians and the taking of hostages, whether by Hamas militant groups or the State of Israel. And for those of you who may think this is an overseas issue, you should know that we are directly and adversely being affected every single day. Less than a month ago, Wadia, a 6-year-old Palestinian Muslim American, was murdered, stabbed 26 times in our backyard in Plainfield, Illinois. In Skokie, at a pro-Palestine rally, a violent protester shot fire in the air and pepper sprayed the police. We are seeing a steady increase in bigotry in local schools, parks, and towns. This cannot happen on our watch, and not with our dimes. This atrocity must stop, as every life is important. As an American Muslim, I stand with the innocent and I condemn Hamas's attack on settlers in Israel, and I condemn Israel's attack on civilians in Palestine. The village of Morton Grove and its residents stand united behind a core value we all share, the undisputed denunciation of all acts of hate. During these times of strife, we are more committed than ever to safeguarding our communities from the widespread increase in anti-Semitic and Islamophobic language, imagery, or behavior. Thank you, Your Honor, for letting me read this. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Camp. Any other business brought before the board? Back to you for the presentation of the warrants.
Thank you. So tonight, I'd like to present a warrant register for November 14, 2023, in the amount of $2,103,097.39. I hereby make a motion to approve the warrant register as presented tonight.
Second.
Motion made by Trustee Khan, seconded by Trustee Minks. Any discussion, questions, or clarifications on our warrants? Hearing none, clerk, please call the vote.
Trustee Travis.
Aye.
Trustee Whitko.
Aye.
Trustee Khan.
Aye.
Trustee Minks.
Aye.
Trustee Sheba. The warrants pass as presented, 5-0, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Residents' comments. First one up will be Devesh Pandit.
Thank you, Your Honor and Trustees. My name is Devesh Pandit. I live in Morton Grove for more than, I remember, 35 years now. Today I stand up before you to say Happy Diwali. Today is our new year. We are starting a Vikram Samvat 2081. So Happy New Year to everyone. I see that there are lots of things happening in the world. As a result of people not making enough means to meet, we have started, all Hindu organizations have started food drive for those who are not able to meet their means. So I would like to request everyone, there is a food drive going on right now by Seva organization, Seva Diwali 2023, Chicago. The website is www.sevadiwali.org. The food drive that we are doing, we are going houses by houses and we are collecting food. Or if you want to donate, you can donate food items like non-expired and non-perishable, no glass container, canned vegetables, fruits, soup, cereals, pasta sauce, cake mix, pasta noodles, peanut butter, coffee, and more. There are several locations where you can drop off displays. There is a QR code that I have here. If you are so willing to donate food or money, whatever that you can, This is for the needy people, Your Honor. We wish you Happy New Year, Happy Diwali, and thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing that information. And if you could leave one with Terry too, will you? That way we can take a peek at it. Thank you very much.
This is the last one I have.
We'll take it. I'll take it. Okay, so we have 13 more people that would like to speak. Again, I'm going to repeat. If you've heard it, please don't repeat it. I think you all kind of felt it with the trees. I get it, but I mentioned it, and yet 3 people came up and basically said the same thing. So keep that in mind here. First person I would like to call up is Fatima Khan.
Hello, I'm actually here because I wanted to bring up the concept of permit parking and how, so I was on Georgiana before and now I'm on Mango. And on Georgiana, we have St. Martha's Church and there's no permitted parking on either side of the street related to the church. So there is in the morning for 2 hours because of the metro. However, when I moved to Mango, one side of the street is fully only permit parking only. On Georgiana, the church had conducts regular activities throughout the week. It was very crowded. Parking was always taken by churchgoers, which I have no problem with. You know, it's their parking lot is small. It overflows onto the street. They also have funeral services there, as long as with Sunday schools and lots of other events going on all the time. However, in areas close to the mosque, in several streets all around it, it's permitted for one side only. And I just want the village to maybe do a thorough assessment and see what all the houses of worship are and which ones have these restricted parking because of overflow and make it equitable, because I am very proud to live in a village that is incredibly close, amazingly open, but should also be equitable. Thank you.
Thank you. Saba Kaiseruden.
Good evening. Dear Mayor DiMaria and honorable trustees, I don't want to take extra time and repeat what you have already heard. I just want to add to Trustee Khan's comments and say that in addition to what she said, I would like to say that the reason why what's happening in Gaza right now, in addition to what she said, more reasons why it's pertinent to us is that we're really all feeling pretty devastated, that your constituents, like our hearts are bleeding and we're in a lot of pain and we want you to care. And we want help. We would like you to help us to reach out to state and national legislators and help us to communicate with them better because they're not listening to us right now.
Big surprise.
And I think it would make our community, I mean, I have lived here with my children for the past 7 happy years. We're active in the community, not just the Muslim community, but the Morton Grove community in general. We volunteer. And it's been great. And so I generally keep a low profile. I know you. I'm sure you don't know me. But I'm here to just ask for help with that we really want to push for an end to the suffering. I feel like nobody is winning right now. Everyone is losing. And the constant bombing in Gaza is not going to bring home the hostages. It's just killing more and more people. And the people who are living without food, water, electricity, medical care are mostly children, or at least half children. And we need to work together. I mean, there's got to be a time when we can just all come together. So I would request you to help us to work with, strengthen relationships in the community as well as with state and national government, and also make a proclamation that the great village of Morton Grove stands for a ceasefire. I know Jan Schakowsky said, can we call it something else? But I don't really want to get into word wars. I want the bombing to stop, and I want the siege to end. Thank you.
Thank you. Anissa Laliwala.
So dear respected mayor, trustees, and Morton residents, my name is Anissa Laliwala. I've been a resident for more than 10 years. I have also been on CRC committee, got to know some of the trustees and all that. Very proud of being in this town, very proud of the members here. And I want to thank Mayor for coming to our community and addressing them recently, and also Trustee Travis and Whitco for coming to the Interfaith Healing event. But along with all these things going on, it's just unimaginable to see the suffering happening in Gaza. So I just want to add my voice to what Trustee Khan said about it. And also Sabak Yasaruddin mentioned earlier, I want to request Village to also add the voice and amplify this, the call for ceasefire. This is the right thing to do. It is a pro-humanity thing to do. It's just unimaginable to see the cries of the babies, and I don't want to keep going on, but I'm sure all of you have seen these images and things coming out of it. And one more thing I just want to add is U.S. should not send any more unconditional military aid to Israel. I'm all for Israel's right to exist peacefully, but we have seen over the past years millions of aid has been sent, and that has not improved anything. In fact, that has kind of led to this situation currently. This is not leading to peace in that region, and we owe to the people of both Palestine and Israel to do the peaceful, long-lasting peace solution with some conditions whenever these aids are given. So I just want to add that point, and Village help to amplify and stand in solidarity with the suffering of people. Thank you.
Thank you. Ashfaq Nagori.
Good evening. I begin in the name of Allah, the most merciful, the especially merciful. I testify that there is nothing worthy of worship except for Allah, and I testify that Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad were prophets and messengers of Allah. First, let me state that Jesus referred to God as Allah in his native Aramaic language, and Moses referred to God as Elohim in the Hebrew language, and in the Arabic language it is Allah. Allah says in the Quran, the final revelation of humankind, in chapter 4, verse 1, O mankind, have consciousness of Allah who created you from one soul, Adam, and created from it its mate, Eve, and dispersed from both of them many men and many women. Also Allah says in the Quran, in chapter 49, verse 13, O mankind, indeed we have created you from male and female, and made you peoples and tribes that you may know one another. Indeed, the most noble of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous of you. Indeed, Allah is knowing and acquainted. In the Prophet Muhammad's, peace be upon him, final sermon, he stated, all mankind is from Adam and Eve. An Arab has no superiority over a non-Arab, nor a non-Arab has any superiority over an Arab. Also, a white does not have any superiority over a black, nor does a black have any superiority over a white, except by goodness, piety, and good action. In addition, based on scientific research, it has been determined that all human beings have 23 pairs of chromosomes. If you were to sample the cells of the Palestinian people, you will most certainly find the same numbers of pairs of chromosomes as Americans, Europeans, or any other peoples in the world. Therefore, based on all of this, the dehumanization which is being conducted against the Palestinian people by the US government and the terrorist apartheid settler colonialist Israeli regime is contrary to what Allah has decreed and also what has been discovered by our study of Allah's magnificence through scientific study. The indiscriminate bombing and killing of tens of thousands of humans and the maiming of tens of thousands of humans is a clear genocidal action being taken with the support of our U.S. government. I am here to urge you to provide your support in whatever capacity to stop this genocide being conducted against the people of Palestine. I urge you to request those of authority to request a ceasefire. I urge you to request a stop to the funding and supplying of weapons to the terrorist state of Israel. And I urge you to request that all humans are treated equal and allowed to live dignified lives in Palestine and all over the world. Thank you.
Thank you. Manar Muzamil.
Dear Mayor Di Maria and honorable trustees, I think an immediate ceasefire is what the people in Gaza need. Due to the Israel and Hamas conflict, thousands of lives have been lost in Gaza. An immediate ceasefire would mean medical care, clean water, and food, some of the basic needs of a human. Thousands of children, men and women, civilians have been killed in this conflict. That's why I highly urge a ceasefire that would save hundreds of lives. Thank you.
Thank you. And Bennett Khan. Not here. Akhtar Sadiq.
Your Honor and respected all the trustees, my name is Akhtar Sadiq, 5736 Main Street, resident of Morton Grove for almost 33 years. As much as I am proud to be an American, I'm standing ashamed to be an American here. All of you know that most of the world, including United Nations, have condemned systematic genocide of Palestinian children, women, and elders, adding to more than 12,000 lives, including 4,000 plus children by our so-called strong ally, Israel. That's about half of the population of Morton Grove, according to 2021. Disgracefully, USA has fully funded this operation. Most of us here have children, parents, grandchildren, spouses, and relatives. Just put ourselves in shoes of those Palestinians who have been butchered. The bombardments of the city, schools, hospitals have been continuously going on. I cannot tolerate to know that U.S. Congress has approved to give to Israel another $14.5 billion in addition to $3.8 billion per year of our hard-earned tax dollars to slaughter more civilians and children. If the U.S. government invests these $14.5 billion domestically, they can hire 158,000 new teachers, can eliminate complete homelessness in the whole USA, can provide child health care to 5 million children, and students' loan for 380,000 students can be forgiven. These should be the priorities rather than blind, unwavering support to Israel. In 1981, Morton Grove became the first community in the nation to ban handguns in order to reduce handgun related to accidents and crimes. The war crimes now committed in Palestine are exponentially higher than that. Mr. Mayor and trustees, you are wise and brave to stand up for justice and humanity. Our voices deserve for the representation, and you are our leaders and our voice. With many of Morton Grove residents, and I request all of you to take this bold step to request White House for humanitarian ceasefire now in Palestine. Morton Grove will go in the history again. And I thank you very much.
Thank you. Sophia?
Dear Mayor DiMaria and honorable trustees, I would like to second the motion for a ceasefire in Palestine. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Rasha Ali? Thank you. Nazanin?
Dear Mayor, good evening, and honorable trustees. It has been very painful to watch the suffering of all the people in Gaza and Israel. It is not new to any of us the atrocities being levied on the children of Gaza. I see dust and blood being washed by their tears. The faces of kids from Gaza paint a picture of suffering after being pulled out from under the rubble. The children in Gaza are robbed of their families, their childhood, their rights to education, and their smiles have been stolen. As a mother of three, this is a heart-wrenching picture to watch. That said, I'm here to call for ceasefire in Gaza and the supply of basic humanitarian aid to the civilians in Gaza that include food, water, electricity, and basic medical supplies. U.S. should not send any unconditional military aid to Israel. This is a local issue because this has implications that include humanitarian concerns, economic implications, immediate impact on local communities. A ceasefire is a call for peace and unity. It is only a means, that means it is taking side of humanity, which is indeed the best side. Thank you.
Miriam Ahmed?
Dear Mayor DiMaria and honorable trustees, I've come to you humbly to request a ceasefire for Gaza. I want to second the previous points and add that the Israel-Palestine conflict has claimed tens of thousands of lives and displaced many millions. Many lives of innocent children and citizens have been attacked and killed. Many children have been orphaned. They don't have proper medical care, food, and access to clean water. I urge you all to call for a ceasefire. Children and civilians need to have proper medical care, life-saving assistance, including food, medical supplies, fuel, and internet access. The UN should use its profit to provide and build schools, hospitals, and health facilities. Preserving the lives of innocents should be our top priority. This is not only a request to call ceasefire for Gaza, but a request for basic humanity. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you. Asrar Ahmed?
Mr. President, honorable trustees, thank you very much for allowing us to speak tonight. Thank you, Dr. Khan, for your wonderful words in support of the comments that the residents are making tonight. You might be wondering why there are so many comments about Gaza here. This is not the United Nations after all. What are we really going to do with all these things on the record? And what is it that we're asking for? I have the same comments that the previous residents have. So what do we do with that? So I'm here to urge you to do something with these comments. Number one, the call to action is that I think that in the record books of Morton Grove's history, which I hope is for thousands and thousands of years after today, that we should record in our history that this board voted for a non-binding ceasefire statement. I mean, I think that's very important. I know you have an attorney up there. It's not binding. It's not going to go anywhere. But we want that statement on the record of Morton Grove as constituents. Number two, we want access to our state legislatures to be taken more seriously. So we would like you to be our voice of constituents of Morton Grove to reach out to state legislators and let them know that we feel unheard. Number three, we would also like for the Morton Grove residents to, and for the board to create an environment where we can come and meet and talk to one another so that in future altercations like this, when they happen overseas, we have a place to come and discuss them in an open forum. A trustee meeting is for one purpose, but there are other events that we can create to foster a diverse environment. The problem with calling for diversity is that it comes with all these other attachments. People from all over the world show up, and then you're like, this is Morton Grove, we're talking about planting trees, and now we're talking about the slaughter of children. But this is what happens, and this is what comes with it. There's a lot of benefits, but I think that we have to start thinking about the next thing that may come up and create an environment where we can host these topics in a more appropriate environment. But like I said, I would like to reiterate that Morton Grove issue a ceasefire statement, obviously non-binding, so that we can have it in our record books. Number two, that we create a fostering environment, maybe a forum where people can come and speak, like in a town hall environment. I forgot my third one. Sorry about that, but I'm sure it's recorded. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak.
You're welcome. Last, Alina Atif. Alina.
Good evening, dear Mayor and Trustees. I know you've heard this a lot already, but I'm here to call for a ceasefire in Gaza. I know that we, as a majority of the community, we feel unheard, we feel hurt, and we can't really do anything. And that's the worst part, because nobody is listening to us. But I feel that you sitting up there, if it's your duty to be human. It's not about whose land is it. It's not about the history. It's about being human. The average age of the Palestinian who's killed in Gaza is 5. People are identifying their family members by their hair, by their fingers. Babies are writing their names on their hands so they are identified if they're bombed. I know you all have, I'm sure some of you guys have children, grandchildren, siblings, younger siblings. Imagine carrying your siblings' organs, pieces of their bodies, because half of it is gone. It was bombed, it was burned. I understand that this is a very complex issue, but this is about humanity. This is about humanity. 14 Palestinians are killed an hour, 5 are killed 20 minutes. That means they started speaking, 1 child has been robbed of his entire future. I saw a 13-year-old child being comforted by doctors because his entire family is gone. They don't have anesthesia, they're performing open surgeries, and people are dying all the time. They don't have proper equipment, so they can't lift anybody out of the rubble, and all of Gaza is essentially leveled. And before you start talking about Hamas, there is no Hamas in the West Bank. Why is the West Bank being attacked? I don't want to make this political, but it's about humanity. If we can't speak, then I feel that it's your duty to be our voice as humans. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other residents' comments?
Hi, I'm Kim Moldovsky. I was not expecting to speak tonight, so this is sort of off the cuff. 3 things. One is, also I'm very pro-tree. Number 2 is a question about one of the ordinances that was passed regarding composting. Does that mean we will no longer be working with collective resources? Correct? Okay. 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 I wish I had tried to speak up then. Okay, so on Sunday, I actually hosted a group of Jewish and Muslim women at my house for a discussion. It was not an invitation issued to the whole community, but it was issued to many people in the community, and I think that we're all horrified by what is happening right now, and we can't compare, it's not one person's pain versus another person's pain. There was an Israeli mother who was sent a video of her child begging for her life and then being executed, and that is just beyond belief. There are other horrors happening beyond belief right now. I do think that people are getting through to our legislators because our state senators and Jan Schakowsky have been leaders in approaching the White House, from what I've read, asking for a ceasefire or asking for pauses in the fighting. So I do feel like if people are calling the legislators, from what I'm hearing, it sounds like that is making a difference. I'm not hearing this in a lot of other states. I also want to say I just think that it's within all of us. If you are a Muslim woman or man, I guess, actually mostly I work with women, and we talk and we have tea and we realize that we can't solve any of the world's problems from where we are in this moment, but that we can help each other feel less alone and we can build understanding, even if that doesn't always lead to agreement. We can understand and we can support and we can be united in things like some of the horrors that are happening should not be happening. And I don't really have a conclusion. I just felt like I also wanted to speak, and I want to urge us all to use our own power and our own connection to build community and create the world we want to see. Thank you.
Thanks, Kim. Any other residents' comments? Javesh, go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, I want to offer my prayers to heal the wounds of the people. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say that everybody be happy in the world, everybody live peacefully, and let's live in peace and harmony. And I would say, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other residents' comments? Okay, hearing none. First, I want to speak on behalf of the village board and thank all of you for coming out and stating your facts here and pleading your case. I will promise you that I will reach out to our elected officials at both the state and the federal level and let them know that you're not exactly 100% satisfied with the response that they are giving you. And I will encourage them to reach out to your community as it's their job, okay? They signed up for it, so they better answer you. And if they don't, I'm going to give you a little recommendation. I don't need applause. I don't need applause. Thank you, though, but I don't need it. But again, if they're not doing what you need them to do, there's a real simple way to get rid of them. You just don't vote for them again. So if they're not representing you, they're not doing their job. But I promise from this podium with my fellow board members and along with Ralph Shawinski, we will reach out and make sure that they contact you. If they don't, feel free to get in touch with myself or Ralph and say these people by name did not get back to us and they're not following through with what they promised that they were supposed to do for you. That is my promise to you tonight, and again, I thank you all for coming out. That being said, I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second that.
Motion has been made by Trustee Mink, seconded by Trustee Khan to adjourn our meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned at 8:19.